It's finally here. Today, we complete the Gatehouse build. Hey everyone, this is Josh and you're watching Scattercraft. Today will be the epic conclusion of this part of the castle build. If you haven't watched the other parts, I'll put a link above that'll get you to part 1 of the Gatehouse build. I've also put together a playlist of the entire castle build project that you can watch through as well if you haven't seen the other steps. Also, if you have been liking these videos, please share these videos with your friends. We are still a small channel and your shares help this channel grow more than anything else you could do. So this project has consumed my life for the last few weeks. This is definitely by far the largest build we've done on this channel to date. And at this point, there's no reason to delay it any further. Let's get this done. Alright, so if you watched the last episode, you saw me build the other tower, so no reason to make you watch that twice. We'll just use some magic here and bam, there we go. And I'll get that put on here. Now I'm going to cut all the supports forward at a 45-degree angle. Use one piece to just gauge all the others, and I made a ton of them. I just glued all those on one at a time. Right in line with the trim pieces here to make it look nice. I put those on in a corner piece. Now that's looking pretty good. Position where I wanted the door to be for tower access from the top. Then I added on some trim pieces all the way around in wood. I use these tiny little pins for rivets throughout the door. What's great about these, you just go nuts with them. The more you add, the more detail it's going to give. Did notice at this point that I didn't put the wood grain on the door slats, but that's not a big deal. Would look better with it. I just add all those rivets, and I add the other door. Then I filled in all the remaining bricks for the edge. I was going to try to cover this with something, but even filling this in, it still looked pretty good. Took a tiny little wooden skewer here, and I glued a bead onto the end of it with some super glue. I'm going to use that as a handle and a little pin to support the portcullis. I just glued a bead on the other side to match it when it's painted up. Now it's just kind of like a little hidden lever. And I added the doors onto the base of the towers as well. I took this little wooden dowel so I could use it for a crank for the portcullis. My razor saw, I cut that down to 1 inch. I painted that burnt umber and did a dry brush of a light mocha. With some super glue, I applied some tiny little jewelry chain onto this. I just laid that on and used my activator to give it a quick seal. I threaded that all the way around and glued the other side as well. I just snipped it with a little extra chain to work with. I have these little metal gears in the jewelry section and they look pretty good for this too. And just with some activator and some super glue, I applied those on each side. I'm going to cut a little frame for it out of some pink foam. And I wanted to put a handle, so I used some matches to cut that out. Oh, well, probably never going to see that piece again. I use super glue and activator again to glue these pieces on to make a handle. And attach the handle to the crank. Now it's starting to look pretty good. I built this little base really simple just out of those pieces I cut in half. And hot glued that together, and then painted it burnt umber. I just use the holes I cut in the top to hold on the crank. And this worked out pretty well. And there that is, I just gotta dry brush it. Grabbed a small section of blue fabric from the fabric store. These are really cheap, I think it was only $2. I want to use it to cut some banners, so I cut a shape that seemed about right. Get rid of some of the extra pieces here. I just cut a little 45-degree angle at the bottom too. That looks about the right shape. I use this Sharpie gold paint marker. You could just use gold paint for this and a paintbrush, but I find this is a lot easier. I'm a lot better at drawing than I am at painting. I just use this to put the markings on my banner. I'm getting a little gold on my mat, so that'd be a good idea to lay that down on some cardboard. I just continue painting all the way around the outside of this until I get the whole border done. And that looks pretty good as is, but I wanted to put a little design on it. I found this flag design online. Apparently it was some Spanish design. I really liked it, so I thought it'd be great to add on here. And I didn't think too many people would know what it was. But I figured it'd be easy enough to draw and it'd look pretty good. And I just filled that in. And that's looking pretty good. After this, all I had to do was Mod Podge and paint the gatehouse exactly like I shown you on my tower build and wall build. I wanted to thank you all for the love and support that you've shown throughout this project. It has been a crazy couple of weeks in the works, and here it is, the completed castle gatehouse build. Enjoy. Well, I hope you had as much fun with this project as I did. This was the necessary piece that really tied this entire thing into one cohesive project. And I'm very happy with the results. Unfortunately, I found out that I don't have a shelf quite big enough to store it. Seeing everything completed in this project is very satisfying and gives you that feeling of a job well done. I will admit though, if it wasn't for you guys, this probably would have took me a lot longer to complete. There were many times that I was just tired of it or stuck on a part of a build, but I knew I had a duty to get this done for you guys, so that really drove me to get this done sooner. I do want to say I am pretty happy with the banners. They turned out great and they were a lot easier to do than I initially thought they would be. I also love the chain lift that I built for the porkless. I feel it was an easy touch that really completed that section of the wall. Well, I am glad that you watched this entire build and I hope that you decide to build one for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe for future videos. Also, if you haven't already, please consider joining the Scattercraft channel private Facebook group. This is a fun group with an awesome community of people that like to share their builds and also help each other to improve their craft. I also like to post teaser photos of upcoming builds in there, and I also like to show some older builds that I've never shown before on my channel. If you're interested in a positive, fun community like that, we'd love to have you. And also, thanks so much for watching Scattercraft. Bye.